Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and a red bot in between, to the over-analysis of Lucius Demake. Now this episode is going to get more into the minutiae of the game. I'm going to talk a bit more about the puzzles and just the gameplay elements, and pretty much summarize the rest of the story. Although I'm pretty sure if you saw part 1, you can pretty much guess how the plot's going to go. Now, it wouldn't be an exploitation horror film without some sexy time. And yes, indeed, this was in the original game, except those hot and sexy 3D models going to town. Now, if you're wondering who those two pixels are, why, the dude is the senator's brother. He's a bumbling idiot. The Billy Carter, if you will, except he's banging the help. Why not, I suppose? It was the 70s and everyone was all sexually liberated back then and wore a lot of bell-bottoms. And as I said, I'm going to talk more about the puzzles in this video. As you can see right here, I'm using my telekinesis to pull down a camera. Honestly, it's not a terrible puzzle, and it's pretty easy in this game to know what you can click on and what you can't, which makes it a breeze to find essential items. Anywho, now that we have this camera, you may be thinking we're going to blackmail our not-uncle. Actually, I'm not sure how that works. Okay, so our daddy is Satan, then I guess our mama's still our mama, so we're half Satan, half mama, so yeah, he's not our uncle, or uncle-in-law. No, that doesn't work that way. Oh well, who cares? You see, we're going to take a picture of them banging, then we're going to show it to another maid who's in love with a brother, and, well, then we're going to reenact that awesome scene from The Omen.
Look at me, Damien! It's all for you!
Oh yeah, we also planted a bunch of evidence in her room to implicate her in all the random killings that have been going on in the house, thus convincing the fuzz that everything's alright. So for all intents and purposes, the game should end here, right? I mean, we neatly framed a lady for all the murders in the mansion, the fuzz is no longer interested in this case, and no one's the wiser that it was us. But no, our killing spree isn't over yet. Now I know I said this a lot, but I'll say it again. This murder doesn't make a whole lot of sense. More so than some of the other ones. It's just hard to think of what exactly Lucius gains by killing this guy. It's only going to cause the police to come back, and it's only going to ruin the senator's life more, which as best as I can tell appears to be the goal of this game. Just ruin the senator's life because you're the Antichrist. And it also leads me to a really interesting fan theory that I just made up on the fly, but I'll get into it later. First, we have to kill Billy Carter. So naturally the cops show up again, but this time, Dada Senator's like, oh hell no, Popo, I don't want you involved in this. This is a clear case of suicide. And oh yeah, I almost forgot something. While I was wandering around the house, I did find a secret underground satanic chamber, which really makes you believe that they're going to use that as a set piece later on in the game. So now the story's really going to start picking up. The cop, still fascinated by this case, isn't going to give up so easily. He goes to the church and is like, yo, priests, can you help me out here? And the priests are like, oh, hell yeah. We're all in on weird killings and stuff. I just watched The Exorcist. I want to be one of those cool priests. And also, the senator confronts his daddy about him being all evil. I know, things are getting all hot and heavy. We almost have something akin to character development. Oh, Granddad did some shady stuff back in the day. Maybe that's why everyone's dying. Maybe this character is just getting a little bit of development before we kill him off, because that's pretty much how this game works. You're introduced to somebody, and then you kill them. But I may be putting the cart before the horse there, because first, the priests have to show up in the middle of the night, you know, to be all atmospheric. And sure enough, Grandpa Creeposaurus is like, yo, get away from here, priests. We don't like your kind around here, because I'm not trying to hide some unfathomable mystery in this house. No, I'm just a friggin' new atheist, and I am euphoric right now. I bet Lucius staring in the window there is all it took to convince the priest that something satanic was afoot here. I mean, look at the kid. He looks like some sort of deranged Puritan. So the journalist breaks into the house now to snoop around, I guess. Although it doesn't last for too long because Grandpa finds him and knocks him out. Then he shows up in our room in the middle of the night and is like, hey, I know you're the Antichrist because guess what? I made a deal with the devil. I'll tell you more about it after you pass a stealth sequence and meet me in the satanic room that you discovered earlier. Okay, sonny boy? Granddad loves you. Now this is one thing I really enjoy about the demake. The stealth sequences are so much more tolerable in this game. It's just basically line of sight, avoid flashlights, not too tricky. Just once you figure out which doors are unlocked. That's probably the most difficult part about it. Just wandering around the house trying to figure out where you can go exactly. But really, it's not difficult. It's not frustrating. Which highlights another thing about this demake that I really like too. And that's that the map seems a lot easier to follow. One of my biggest problems with the original Lucius was that the mansion just seemed so goddamn big, and it seemed like it took forever to get the places, and I was often confused about where I could go, where I was at, and so forth and so on. But in this demake, I was pretty quickly able to figure out where I needed to go and how to get there. Pretty nice, because nobody likes just wandering around in a game for no good reason, unless it's a walking simulator. But speaking of walking simulators, let's walk this knife into Granddad's back. Oh, but I should probably set the scene for you before I give up the goose. You see, Granddad has strapped down on this little altar here the journalist, and he wants us to ritualistically murder him. You know, it's always lovely to see some good old-fashioned family values portrayed in a video game. Grandson and Granddad bonding over ritualistic murder. It just, it warms my heart. But naturally, Lucius being Lucius wants to also kill Granddad because, it makes absolutely zero sense. Granddad knows that Lucius is the Antichrist. Hell, he wants to help him, so why does Lucius want to murder him? It's not like that wily old man could be of any benefit to him later down the line, because he seems to be really scrappy and willing to do awful stuff, so yeah, screw him, I guess. He's completely worthless to us. Which actually leads me nicely into my little fan theory, and that's that Lucius isn't the Antichrist. In fact, I think the devil is just being a jackass to this entire family and ruining it because Granddad tried to invoke him, and Satan's like, no, Kennedy knockoffs. I'm not going to help you. I'm just going to screw all you guys over by convincing your dumbass grandson that he's Antichrist because that kid is super gullible and willing to do anything. The kid really needed a father figure, but oh well, too late, you're all dead now. Well, hot damn, son, we've gone Super Saiyan now. And I mean it, we got like fireballs and everything that we're gonna use against a journalist. Yeah, it's not terribly exciting, is it? Basically, I'm trying to hit the dude with some fireballs, and occasionally he'll flip up a cross in the background, which causes me to momentarily lose fireball power until I flip it back down, and thus making the cross satanic, which is actually really dumb because an inverted cross is the cross of St. Peter, the guy who didn't want to be crucified in the same way that Jesus was because he's like, no, I'm not as good as Jesus. Kill me with an upside down cross. It's actually a pretty cool statement, and I can appreciate the poetry in it, but I guess it's been reappropriated by Satan now. But let's not worry about it for too long because, as I said before, things are really coming to a head now. The senator starts investigating his dad's bookcase and discovers a bunch of messed up occult satanic books just out there in the open for anyone to see. Yeah, for real, Granddad didn't take any effort in trying to hide this. The senator's just that oblivious. But anyway, because of all the books lying about, the senator now suspects that Lucius is evil and that his dad did some messed up stuff. My God, there are so many father issues in this game. Dr. Phil would have a field day with this family. But of course the wife doesn't buy it because, well, tension and all that. But anyway, this isn't going to stop Lucius from killing everyone. In fact, we're running out of people. And also, in fact, I cut out a bunch of killings because frankly they just felt like filler. It's like we're some affluenza kid just murdering poor people who work for us because we're just a terrible human being. Yes, indeed, we can kill so easily in this game and so utterly pointlessly too. We're just a maniac on a rampage, killing the working class. Because, again, just Satan wants souls, and these people, these poor people who are just trying to make ends meet, are just being sacrificed. I mean, sure, we gotta learn a little bit about these characters. Like the guy who was mowing the lawn, he apparently liked to disco and have a good time, and was just probably enjoying life until, well, a lawnmower blade found his head. Oh, the maid felt guilty about having a little affair with the brother. Well, she died. Oh yeah, that guy who was passed out by the car. He was just a driver who wanted to start a band, and, well, he's dead now. Furthermore, the teacher was just a teacher trying to educate the Antichrist, because why the hell would the Antichrist want to be educated? It's not like he's going to have to be clever or anything to try to manipulate the world. And oh yeah, the one minority in here got burned alive. Well, at least the black guy didn't die first. But now, things have finally reached the climax. We really have only one random killing left, and that's our mother. Although we won't be pulling the trigger. Yep, we took demon possession of our daddy and made him shoot our mother with a nail gun right in front of the popo. I guess we achieved what we set out to achieve in this game. We effectively murdered everyone in this house and ruined the senator's life for no particularly good reason. Yay us. But the game's not quite over yet. This faux Kennedy somehow gives the police the slip. Probably because they chew cigarettes. I mean, come on, these are 70s cops. And then one of the cops takes us inside the house to keep an eye on us. So naturally, we have to murder this cop because he's trying to protect us. And, no, I don't even have an explanation for this. But hey, we get to kill some more. You better watch out, folks. Those ceiling fans are killers. And speaking of killers, the priests are here for some reason. Maybe they have psychic powers. Or maybe there was some satanic bat signal that went off above the house, drawing the priests back in at this timely and climactic moment. So yeah, we gotta kill a couple priests, and what is pretty much like an old school arcade game. It's actually kind of fun. So with a raging inferno all around us, we murder a couple of priests. And then guess what? Daddy's home. Yeah, it's a bit of a lame fight. Basically avoid Daddy and then bring some rubble down upon his head. I mean, I can't say I blame the guy for trying to kill this kid. After all, he did murder every single human being in this house. Other than one of the police guys, our narrator. Well, the cop certainly took his sweet time there. And yeah, everyone's dead in this house now. The cop and the Antichrist are our only survivors. How wonderful. And yeah, that's pretty much where the game ends. House buried in the background, little boy's all evil, and he's also an orphan now. And probably going to become a ward of the state. Yeah, they still had orphanages back in the 70s, although he comes from money, so it's kind of hard to tell what exactly is going to happen to him. Probably get put up in some sort of trust or something until he turns 18, but anyway, this kid's life is pretty much screwed because Satan told him to murder everyone in this house for reasons that really don't make any sense. But hey, that's horror for you folks, and that's it for Lucius the Demake, a game that I thoroughly enjoyed. My god, I'm gonna say it. I like this game more than the original. I mean, this Commodore 64 Demake is amazing. I mean, yeah, the original Lucius was alright, but this game, wow, I had a great time with it. It's Lucius, but retrofied, and somehow that makes it way better. Mostly because, as I mentioned before, the navigation's a lot easier, the stealth isn't frustrating, the puzzles are pretty easy because you can actually find items with relative ease, and it's a fun little campy romp and a good time all around. I recommend it. Thumbs up. Buy it if you want, or don't. I really don't care. I got no stake in it, folks. And that does it for this episode of Overanalyzed Adventures. Hopefully I'll see you for another one.